Assalamu alaikum, Masud Mohammad Yawar here, and today we are going to talk about food. What is something we all need, enjoy, and share? The answer is food. It is not just a basic necessity for survival, it is also a powerful part of culture, identity, and human connection. Today, we explore how food evolved from simple need into a global cultural icon.
Hey, what you there? Just checking if the connection's okay. Sometimes these calls can be a bit finicky.
Yeah, I'm there. Hello.
Hey, glad to hear you're there. What's on your mind today?
Today,
They?
I
Who
guess
are you referring to? Hey, no need to thank anyone. Just what's up? You sounded a little hesitant. Is everything all right?
today I think we are going to talk about a simple necessity of for survival, which everyone needs to basically survive in this world.
Okay, interesting topic. Survival necessities makes me think of the basics like water, food, shelter. What
Uh,
specifically were you thinking of exploring within that
you,
theme? Me? What about me? You want to talk about what people need to survive, but you say pew? Is there something you're getting at there?
basically, we are going. You guessed it right. We are going to talk about food.
Ah, got it. Food. It is. Makes perfect sense. One of the most basic necessities. Where should we start with food? Like the actual biology of needing it, or maybe how different cultures approach it?
So first of all, the basic question,
Go ahead.
which goes with everything. What is food?
Good starting point. What's your take on what food really is? I mean, beyond just what we eat. Like, fundamentally, what does food do for us that makes it so crucial?
Okay, so why is food essential for life?
Well, food's the fuel that literally keeps everything running. It gives us energy, obviously, that's the most basic part. But beyond that, it provides the building blocks for our bodies, helps us grow and repair tissues. It's how we get the vitamins and minerals we need to make all the systems actually work, from our brains down to our immune systems. Essentially, without food, the whole operation shuts down pretty quickly. What gets you thinking about food's fundamental importance right now?
Okay, so how does food provide energy?
So, food has these things called macronutrients, carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. They each do different jobs, but they all get broken down into molecules our bodies can actually use. Carbs break down into glucose, which is like quick fuel. Fats are slower burn, giving you more sustained energy. Proteins get broken down into amino acids, which your body uses to build and repair stuff, but can also be used for energy in a pinch. All those things get processed through metabolism, which is basically the way our body converts food into energy we can use for everything thinking, moving, breathing, you name it. Does that
Okay,
make sense?
so what is metabolism?
Good question. Metabolism is like the engine room of your body. It's all the chemical processes that happen to keep you alive, turning food into energy, building tissues, getting rid of waste. So when you eat, your digestive system breaks down food, and your blood carries those nutrients to your cells. Metabolism takes those nutrients and uses them for all the things your body needs to do. It's actually made up of two main parts: anabolism, which is building up, and catabolism, which is breaking down. So you're constantly building things up while also breaking things down. Does that click, or do you want me to go into more detail?
No, it is fine. I got it. So how did early human obtain food?
Hang on, I didn't quite catch that last part. Could you say it again? It
How
sounded
did
like only keep.
How did early
I
humans obtain food?
oh, I think you're asking how did humans learn about food and figure out what's safe to eat? How did they work that out over time?
No, like my question is, how did early humans obtain food?
Ah, um, that's a totally different angle. Hey, glad to hear you're doing well. Ready to dive back into that question about how early humans got their food? Take your time. No rush. Just let me know when you're ready to keep talking about it.
Yeah, so we will. Okay, so when did farming begins?
Um, Farming really started to take hold around 10,000 BCE. That's about 12,000 years ago. It began in what's called the Fertile Crescent, which is in parts of modern day Middle East. But it didn't happen overnight. People gradually started domesticating plants and animals. Before farming, they were hunters and gatherers, following animals and picking wild plants as they became available. Farming was pretty revolutionary because it meant people could settle in one place, grow their own food, and not have to move around so much. Though, even then, it took centuries to really spread globally. What got people to make that switch from roaming around to settling down?
Yeah, that's very good. So, how is food? How has food evolved over time?
That's a huge question. Foods changed so much over time. It was back when people were hunters and gatherers, their diet was all about what was around locally. Then, when agriculture started, different regions began to specialize in what they could grow well: wheat in the Middle East, rice in Asia. Over centuries, trade and travel spread foods around, creating more variety. Then came things like preservation techniques, salting, drying to make food last longer. Then, in the last couple hundred years, things really exploded with industrialization, mass production, canning, frozen food, global supply chains. Now we can get pretty much any food from anywhere in the world year round. It's gone from survival based to this massive global industry. Is there something specific about that evolution you're curious about?
Okay, so what role does cooking play in food?
Huge role. Um, Honestly, it's kind of what separates us as humans in a lot of ways. Raw foods often have toxins or are hard for us to digest properly. Cooking makes them safer, easier to chew and break down, and often releases more nutrients. But beyond that, cooking transforms flavors, right? Think about what raw potatoes versus roasted potatoes taste like. Totally different experience. Cooking was also social around the fire. People connected, shared stories, built communities. It wasn't just about survival, it was about culture. What aspect of cooking's role interests you?
Okay, so like how does food
Oh,
reflect culture?
you're asking how food differs across cultures? That's fascinating. Food's actually a huge reflection of a culture's history, environment, and values. What grows well in a certain place shapes a lot, obviously. But it goes way deeper than that. Food is often tied to religious beliefs, celebrations, social structures. What's considered polite or rude around food can vary dramatically too. Even something simple like how people eat using forks versus chopsticks, sitting on the floor versus at a table, it all tells you something about the people and their history. Do you have a specific cultural approach to food in mind that you're curious about?
Okay, so why do different regions have different cuisines?
Good question. A lot of it comes down to the environment, honestly. What can actually grow in a region shapes a lot. Mediterranean climates grow olives and grapes, while tropical climates have rice and mangoes. Availability of animals matters too. Some cultures eat more beef because of grasslands, others rely on fish or poultry. But geography isn't the only thing. Centuries of migration and trade have mashed together ingredients and techniques. Also, some cultures focus on specific ways of preparing food, like the heavy use of spices in Indian cooking or the fermentation focus in East Asia. It's all this combo of local resources, historical influences, and cultural preferences that lead to distinct cuisines. Does that make
Okay.
sense, or would you like me to break it down more?
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Okay.
So, what's catching your attention about all this?
Okay.
Are
So,
you thinking about specific cuisines or just the general idea?
how does climate affect food choices? Like, how can the climate
That's
affect the food and the food around it?
that's a great way to look at it. Climate directly affects what food will grow. Warm, humid climates like in Southeast Asia are perfect for rice, while drier areas with lots of sunshine like the Mediterranean work for olives and grapes. Cold climates can mean more root vegetables or hardy grains. Then the climate influences how food is stored too in hotter regions. Preservation techniques like drying or pickling are more important. Climate change is shaking things up now, though. We're seeing growing seasons shift, certain crops struggle, and food production become harder in areas where it used to thrive. Are you thinking about specific examples, maybe how global warming might impact food production?
Okay. So, what are nutrients in food?
Um, that's a great question. Nutrients are basically what foods provide to keep us alive and functioning. There are a few main categories. Macronutrients, that's carbs, fats, and proteins. They give us energy. And then micronutrients, vitamins and minerals. These don't give us direct energy, but they help our bodies work properly. Vitamins are organic. You get things like vitamin C or vitamin D. Minerals are inorganic, like iron or calcium. Fiber is important too. It helps with digestion. Then there's water, which is absolutely crucial for basically every process in your body. Different foods offer different combinations of these. That's why a varied diet is important. Does that make sense, or do you want to dive deeper into any specific one?
Okay. So, tell me, why is
Go
balanced
on.
diet important?
Balanced diet's important because your body needs a little of everything to work at its best. Carbs give you energy, proteins help repair and build tissues, fats protect organs. Vitamins and minerals keep everything running smoothly, everything from your heart beating to your immune system functioning. If you're only getting carbs and no proteins, you'll feel weak and tired. If you're missing key vitamins, you'll get sick more often. Eating too much of one thing and not enough of others throws off your body's internal balance. It's like a really complex recipe. If you leave something out, it doesn't work as well.
So, what are traditional foods?
Traditional foods are what people in certain regions have been eating for generations, long before processed stuff or global food chains. They're usually based on ingredients that were historically available locally. Think Ethiopian injera bread made from teff, or Native American corn dishes, or Italian pasta from durum wheat. They often use cooking methods passed down through families, techniques that reflect how people adapted to their specific environment and needs. Often they're linked to cultural identity and celebrations too. It's food that tells a story about a place and its people. What about traditional foods are you curious about in particular?
Yeah, there are many traditional foods. So, like, can food used to connect families?
I think you're asking if food can bring families together?
Yes, yes.
Absolutely. Traditional meals are often family events, preparing the dishes together, sharing them together around a table. They pass on recipes through generations. So it's like a living connection to the past. Plus, the same foods often get tied to specific celebrations or memories, which creates shared experiences. That's something people can connect to not only each other, but also their families who cooked these recipes before them. Food becomes a kind of symbol of belonging, like shared meals, reinforcing those family bonds.
Okay, absolutely, I got it. So, like, how is food important in festivals, and how is food used in celebrations?
Food is often at the very center of celebrations. Practically every culture has special dishes tied to specific occasions. Think about Thanksgiving turkey, Christmas cookies, birthday cake, or the specific foods made for Diwali or Chinese New Year. The food itself often carries symbolic meaning, like the round shape of mooncakes during the mid autumn festival representing family unity. Preparing the food becomes part of the celebration too. Often whole families get involved. And when you share food together, it creates this sense of connection and community that really adds to the joy of the event. Does that track?
Okay, so what about like what is street food?
Street food is basically ready to eat meals sold by vendors in public places, streets, markets, food stalls. It's been around for centuries. Ancient Rome had food stalls, for example. It's usually affordable, quick, and really represents a lot about the local culinary culture. Tacos in Mexico, pad thai in Thailand, pizza al taglio in Rome, all street food staples. What I think's cool about it is it often reflects the everyday flavors people actually eat, not just fancy restaurant dishes. Does that make sense?
Okay, absolutely. So, is it safe
So
to
what
eat?
mm, that's a good question. It can be tricky. Street food can be amazing, but it can also carry some risks if food isn't handled properly. Things like water quality and cleanliness of surfaces matter a lot. That's where you can get sick. Usually, busy stalls with high turnover are safer because the food is fresh. Looking for steam or like food that's been freshly cooked is another good sign. Trusting your gut instinct too. If a place doesn't look clean or the food looks off, it's best to skip it. But honestly, a lot of street food vendors take pride in what they do, and it can be totally fine. You just have to be a bit cautious.
Okay, so how does food influence identity?
Ah, that's a really deep question. Food actually does shape who we are in a lot of ways. Like our food memories, that first bite of your grandma's apple pie or a special dish your mom made can be deeply ingrained in how we see ourselves. The food our families eat is part of our cultural heritage, so it becomes tied to how we identify with our background. Also, what we choose to eat can signal who we are. Some people are vegan for ethical reasons, others follow keto for health, and that shows something about their values. Food isn't just about nutrition, it's about who we are as people. What about that connection between food and identity makes you think?
Like, what about
Go.
what is fast food?
Fast food is basically food that's prepared and served really quickly. Think McDonald's, Burger King, Taco Bell. The main goal is convenience. It's meant to be cheap and available quickly when you're on the go. It usually involves food that's been mass produced and standardized to make it consistent everywhere. Of course, that speed and consistency often means it's not the healthiest option, high in fat, sugar, and processed ingredients. But it's undeniable that fast food has become a really big part of how people eat around the world these days.
Okay, so how did early humans obtain food?
Going back to that original question you asked, early humans got food through hunting animals and gathering wild plants. They'd track down animals like bison or mammoths and hunt them using spears or traps. They'd also collect edible plants like berries, nuts, roots, and seeds wherever they found them. It was a really hands on life where you had to know your environment well and be able to constantly move around following food sources. It wasn't easy. A lot of the time, they probably struggled to find enough to eat, but they had pretty solid knowledge about the seasons, what plants were safe, and animal behavior.
Okay, I got it. Okay, so like, how does food bring happiness?
Ah, good question. Food hits a lot of happy buttons. Obviously, delicious flavors activate pleasure centers in our brains, like that satisfying crunch or really rich chocolate. But beyond that, food is often tied to good memories and positive experiences. Think about celebrations, family gatherings, or even just comfort food when you're feeling down. Sharing food also creates connection. Cooking for someone or eating together fosters closeness and warmth. Food's not just fuel, it's how people show love, celebrate life, and feel a sense of well being. It can bring us together with people, give us a sense of tradition or nostalgia. Food definitely plays a lot of roles in our happiness.
Absolutely, absolutely. You're right. So how will food evolve in the future?
That's huge. Lots of changes coming. First, we'll probably see more plant based options as people worry about health and sustainability. Expect things like lab grown meat to become more common, beef without the farm animals. Tech will play a big role, like vertical farming, where crops are grown in skyscrapers, or robots helping with food production. Plus, climate change will push people to find drought resistant crops and more local sourcing. Food supply chains might look way different in the future. Personalized nutrition will probably be bigger too, diets tailored to your DNA or gut microbiome. It's going to be pretty different than the way we eat now in the next 50 years or so.
Absolutely. So, thank you, Maya. That would be all. Very nice of you. Very nice. You told many things about it, and thank you very much.
You're very welcome, you are. That was a fun conversation about food. Glad I could share some interesting thoughts with you.
So, viewers, that was our talk with Maya about food, and now let me just explain what is. Let me conclude the video. Food started as a basic human need, but it has grown into much bigger, a symbol of culture, creativity, and connection. It brings some people together, tells stories, and reflects who we are. It brings people together, tells stories, and who we are, because food is not just what we eat; it's part of who we are. So that was our talk with Maya. I think you will like this video. If you like this video, kindly share this video, like this video, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much for watching. This is Yawar signing off.